everybody, it's Greg Bissonette. Welcome to my YouTube channel. If you haven't done so already, please hit subscribe, please like, and please hit that little notification bell. And I think you're going to enjoy this topic. It's a topic that is asked all the time to me by drum students of mine, people at clinics, and even on recording sessions. Producers will say, well, should I send charts? And I'll say, you can send charts, but I kind of like to make my own charts. And by that, I mean, I like to read my own kind of writing. I like the bass drum to be stems down. And a lot of people's charts, especially computer-generated charts, everything is stems up. And that's not the way I like to read. I like to read bass drum stems down, snare drum stems up. If it's tom-toms, I like to have circles around them. That could be the floor tom, that could be the rack tom. I like to have my hi-hat with a plus if it's closed, with an O if it's open, and with a circle with a line through it if it's kind of slushy, kind of washy. I like my crash cymbal to be like that, and I like the ride cymbal just to be more like that. I like my cowbell to be a triangle. And that's pretty much it, really. The thing that's important when I make my charts, if it's an audition, if it's a recording session, if it's a concert, a rehearsal, I like to have my stuff charted out and not necessarily on a big music stand so my head is buried in the stand the whole time. My drum tech with the Ringo All-Star Band, Jeff Jonas, he made me this really cool black wooden box that nobody can see from the audience. And it's even got a little light. So I can be looking at it, glancing down, but looking at the band. That's the big thing. That's the difference between charts and say you're trying to read a piece of music, like maybe for a classical piece where it's all you're reading it, you're staring at it. I'm not staring at my chart. I'm looking down and I see the beat and I see there's 8 bars. I don't have to count 8 bars anymore. When I first started reading music, I had to count 1, 2, 3, 4, 2. Now I can feel an 8-bar phrase. If there's 2 8-bar phrases together in a chart, I'll just put 16, and I can feel 16. I don't really feel 24 naturally, or even 32, but I'll put 8, 8, 8, B section 8, or I'll put 16 for chorus, and I can feel a 16-bar phrase. It all boils down to 1, 2, 3, 4, 2, 3, 4. And 4 of those is 16. So charting and also being able to verbalize drums. If you're maybe in a dressing room before a show, and the band's getting together, and you say, hey, on the end of that first song, I think I'm going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, oopidaloo, black, go, 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 ba. That's telling them what I'm going to play. That's is a bass drum. Oopidaloo, 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 and then a flab. Oopidaloo, blah, blacko, kablacko, kabla. Is a crash. Ting, ting, ting is a cymbal. I have gotten really into singing drums. I can be in a car, I can be on a bus, on a train, on a plane, I can be in a dentist office and I can sing drum parts. I can even be in a dentist office and with my AirPods, and I can practice by singing very quietly to myself. But it's probably not even picking up on the lav mic, but I can sing so quietly that I know what I'm going to play. If you can sing it, hopefully you can play it. So during this chart writing process today, I'm going to be singing kick drum, snare drum, tom tom 1, doom, floor tom, doom, hi-hat closed, hi-hat open, hi-hat wash, crash cymbal, ride cymbal, ting, 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 ting. I can make special notations for the stack cymbals or for the clap stack, but a cowbell, bing, 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 with the triangle. I guess the first thing For those of you who are beginners that go, oh, I don't want to get into reading. It's just too much. It's too hard. It's not that hard. The best way to look at it is, first of all, get used to what the time signature is. If I put the fraction 4/4, that means that there's 4 beats to the measure and the quarter note gets the beat. 4 beats to the bar, the quarter note gets a beat. These are all quarter notes. Quarter notes look like this. That's called the note head, and that's called the stem. Eighth notes look like this. So here's a simple mathematical question. How many eighth notes would be in a bar of 4/4? 8. So 4 quarter notes are in a bar of 4/4. 8 eighth notes are in a bar of 4/4. 16 16th notes are in a bar of 4/4. We're not going to really get into 32nd notes. We can get into triplets. These are eighth note triplets. 1 triplet, 2 triplet, 3 triplet, 4 triplet. 1 triplet, 2 triplet, 3 triplet, 4 triplet. So 4 sets of those would be in a bar. 16th note triplets are often called sextuplets because there's 16th notes. There's 2 of these beams and a 6 over it. Biddly, 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 biddly. That would be 1 bar. So if you had 1, 2, 3, 4, biddly, 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 1 triplet, 2 triplet, 3 triplet, 4 triplet, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, 1 eana, 2 eana, 3 eana, 4 eana. That's how you count 16th notes. You don't go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. Nobody would do that. You say 1, 2, 3, 4 for quarters, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and for eighth notes, and 1 E and ah. Or I say 1 E and ah. 1 eana, 2 eana, 3 eana, 4 eana. Now, just with playing the notes, there are also when do you rest. So a quarter note rest looks like this, kinda. That's my quarter note rest, the way I write it. An eighth note rest is like a note head with a beam like that. That means you have the value of an eighth note. A 16th note rest would look like this. A whole note rest would look like this, and it would hang from the bar line. That means you rest for 4 beats. A half note rest would sit on the bar line. It wouldn't hang from the bar line. It would sit on the bar line. So that means you rest for 2. So say you have 1, 2, and then you'd have 3, 4, or whatever rhythm. That's kind of a basic outline of the ins and outs of what the note values are. There's a couple more I haven't brought up yet. Might as well talk about them. If you just hit a cymbal crash and let it ring for the whole bar, and you don't do anything else, that would look, or a bass drum note, or a floor tom note, or timpani or something, that would look like this. Looks like an egg. This is how you'd conduct. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. So this whole note is worth 4 beats. 1, 2, ready, and boom, off. Half notes, which look like this, they have a note head. Half notes are 1, 2, 3, 4. That's why we have rolls. Because if you hit a snare drum, bap, bap, bap. The length of that snare drum, you have a roll. Brrr, brrr, brrr. Then we can get a little trickier. We can go into what's called dotted notes. What is the meaning of a dot? Well, the dot after a note. If you've got a quarter note and you put a dot after it, that dot increases the note by half again its regular value. That quarter note would be equal to 2 eighth notes, 1 and, 1 and. But with the dot, it's now equal to 3 eighth notes. To repeat, a quarter note is equal to 2 eighth notes. When you put a dot after it, that's half again its regular value, 3 eighth notes. So you see this rhythm a lot in charts. You see this rhythm a lot in charts. So this is 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. 1, 2, 3, 1, 1, 2, 3, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. This is a dotted eighth note. An eighth note is worth 2 16th notes, but with the dot, it's now worth 3 16th notes. So that would be 1 E and, right there, 1 E and. This one would be the ah. 1 E and ah. So that rhythm, 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4 E and a 1 and 2 and 1 E and a 2 E and ah. So that's what dots do. You can have a dotted half note. If a half note is equal to 2 quarter notes, how many quarter notes are in a dotted half note? Ed?
3.
3. Ed is from England, and he probably grew up calling these quavers and semiquavers and breves and crotchets. I don't know anything about the English names of these notes. I just know the U.S. versions. That dotted half note is worth 3 quarter notes. The other thing that I should talk about are ties. If you have a tie, say you have this figure, 1 and 2 and, right? 1 and 2 and. But you want to tie these together. This is especially important with horn parts, trumpets, trombones, saxophones, vocalists, where it's instead of just being dot, 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 it's dot, 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 dot. Drummers might go bang, 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 bang. But if you put a roll there, bop, dot, 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 you don't attack 2 because you're tying the end of 1 into 2. So instead of no tie, dot, 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 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and, now you're tying this note into this note. Dot, 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 dot. So the ties can be with 16th notes. They could be with any types of notes. You could tie that note into that. Da, da, da. That would be 1 E and, in parentheses, 1 E and a 2, 1 E and a 2, 3 E and a 4, ba, ba, ba. Drummers often just think about getting a snare drum hit and a bass drum hit and a floor tom hit and a cymbal hit. Well, you have to think about how long is that cymbal ringing? If you want that snare drum to ring more than just dot, you have to go or play some type of roll to get the length of that. A hi-hat is different than a ch. So these dots and these ties really help with the lengths of these notes. People say, well, how do you read a beat? How would you read a simple, straightforward doot, dot, doot, dot? How would you write it? How would you read it? First of all, that time signature of 4/4, where there's 4 beats to the measure and the quarter note gets a beat. Let's first write 8 hi-hats. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. So that's ch, 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 ch. I put stems down with the bass drum on 1, and this is 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. The snare drum is going to go on 2, the bass drum is going to go on 3, and the snare drum is going to go on 4. So you've got the right hand. For me, I'm a right-handed drummer. Again, I'm going to verbalize. 1, 2, ready, and 1, 2, 3, 4, ah, ah, ah. I've heard, well, how do you sing a hi-hat verbalizing while you're singing ooh, ah, ooh, ah? Well, it's pretty easy. This isn't just it's with a ch. So it becomes chum. That's a ch with nothing under it. So it's still a ch. That's a ch on the hi-hat with a snare, with a ah. So it's cha. And then a ch. So chum, cha, chum, cha. You can say chum, cha, or you can go dun, tat. That's the way I do it more than anything. Dun, tat, dun, tat. So I'm going dun, tat, dun, tat, dun, tat, dun, tat. Pretty easy, right? If you want to throw a few eighth notes in there, let's throw an eighth note right here. So this beat is going to go from dun, tat, to now dun, tat, dun, tat, dun, tat, dun, dun, dun. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. What if I decide to go another eighth note right there? This is the beat that I've found on the first 4 Beatles albums that Ringo seemed to play more than any other beat. When you hear the way it works with Paul McCartney's bass, Ringo's bass drum, and Paul's bass, I hear this figure a lot. Again, we're going 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Let's change it up a little bit more. Let's put another eighth note here. 1, 2, that would be tun tun tat, tun tun tat, tun 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 tat, tun tun tat, tun 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 tat, tun tun. And don't feel like you've always got to be going. I'm going to leave some pauses for breaths. Tun tun tat, tun tun tat, tun 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 tat. Slow. Tun tun tat. Dun, 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 dun. You have to breathe. So right now I want to clarify why my last snare drum was tied to a bass drum with the bass drum stem going up. So here's boom, bop, boom, boom, bop, boom. Okay? Why, when I said bass drums are stems down, why is that stems down, stems down, stems down, stem up? Well, it's because it's beamed to the snare drum. This is the way I learned to read. It could be the other way where you beam the snare drum down to the bass drum. It could be like that. That could be bop boom or bop boom. So either one of these will work. Okay. So boom, bop, boom, boom, bop, boom, boom, bop, boom, boom, bop, boom. But now let's try using some rests. Let's put some rests in. We'll go 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and with the hi-hat. Again, you're in 4/4 time, the fraction 4 over 4. 4 beats to the bar, quarter note gets the beat. The eighth notes are 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Let's put a rest here. Rest and an eighth note here. Rest, boom, bop, boom, bop. That's a pretty cool beat. Rest on 1, come in on the end of 1. 1 and 2, 3, 4. Let's beam this bass drum up to the snare. Let's go like that. Let's beam that snare drum up. So 1 and 2, 3 and 4. Here we go. Now let's try some quarter note rests here. Let's add a little bit of tricky hi-hat. Instead of 1 and 2 and, let's do this pattern. 1 and a 2 and a. These are just beaming 16th notes. 16th notes, if you see a 16th note by itself, it looks like that. When you see them beamed together, they look like that. When you see an eighth note by itself, it looks like that. And as you know from the hi-hat, when you see eighth notes beamed together, they look like that. So there's an eighth note, 2 16ths, eighth, 2 16ths, eighth, 2 16ths, and again, eighth, 2 16ths. 1 E and ah. 1 E and ah. 2 and ah. 3 E. And when I say 1 and ah, the E is contained in there. 1 E and ah. 2 E and ah. 3 E and ah. 4 E and ah. So that's our new hi-hat pattern. It could be. When I play faster, I sing that note shorter. But let's use a quarter note rest. Boom. There's our quarter note rest. 1, 2, 3, and 4. That's kind of a wild beat. 1, rest, 3, and 4. Boom, bop, boom, 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 bop, boom, boom. Well, if you're going to sing that all, could be a song. dum, ba, dum, dum, da, dum, dum, da, dum, 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 dum. I don't know what I'm coming up with. I'm coming up with stuff on the spot, but that could be kind of a cool riff to play along with your bass player. Another version of leaving a rest could be 1, 2, rest 4. No kick on 4. So here's our old school 1 and 2 and it could be quarter notes on the hi-hat. It could be sextuplets on the hi-hat. It could be any kind of hi-hat. But just for the graphic, we're going to go doon, dot, dot. We're leaving a rest on beat 3. 1, 2, rest 3. Doon, dot, dot, doon, dot, dot. Only hi-hat there. Now, the reason why we have a quarter note rest on beat 3 is you can't just have 3 quarter notes in a bar of 4/4, because you have to show not only the space you're playing in, but you have to designate the space you're resting in. Now I'm going to put a few dots in. I'm going to try this pattern that I love. 8th notes, but I'm going to dot that and I'm going to make that a 16th. So now it's 1 E and ah. And then I'm going to say 2, 3, and 4 E and ah. Okay, so now we've dotted that 8th note and made it worth 3/16. The 4th 16th is the We've got a 4th 16th 2 E and 2 E and 3 E and and just like this, we're playing it on the snare, 4 E and So if I did decide to maybe put 16th notes in the right hand, or you can go, but that's hard to say fast. If I'm going to go like Africa by Toto, I'll go, that's how I would tend to do the verbalization of the hi-hat when it's fast, like that. So let's sing that by going, and then chung cha chung 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 cha ga. Let's take that slow. 1 E and a 2 E and a ready, go. Boom, boom, bop, boom, 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 bop, bop, boom, boom, bop, boom, 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 bop, bop, boom, boom, bop, boom, 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 bop, bop, dun, dun, dot, dun, 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 dot, dot, dun. Now, what if I want to make the first note a crash? I'll circle it and I'll go like that. What if I want to go right here? I want it open. I'm going to assume that these are all closed, even though to make it correct, you'd put pluses over them. And then an open, plus, 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 plus. Keep these all plus. That hi-hat pattern would now be maybe you want to fill. Repeat signs are very, very great when you're making charts, because if you want that to happen twice, you would just go like this. But are you really going to repeat that crash? I wouldn't. If I was going to repeat that crash, I'd put a crash there. I would just go 3, What if I want to go bucket of fish, bucket of fish, bucket of fish, bop? Well, bucket of fish, let's just say that's not a 4th bar. 1 bar, 2 bars, 3 bars. Here's our 4th bar, bucket of fish. Bucket of fish is basically triplet here, 16th note triplet, snare, rack tom, floor tom, kick, stems up, because I'm following this. And I would do that again. Bucket of fish, fruit of the loom, bop. All these drummer phrases. Give me a little bucket of fish right there. Okay. Give me a fruit of the loom, bop. So that's bucket of fish, bucket of fish, bucket of fish, bop. That's going to be the fill on my 4th bar. Bucket of goom, bucket of goom, bucket And I might even do a flam on 4. Why not? Flams look like this. There's your quarter note. There's the note before. So you want ba-da, a left flam, where the right hand hits first, then the left hand. That is a left hand. We'll put a left hand flam. Ba-da, bucket of fish, bucket of fish, bucket of fish, blop. You can even write the sticking out. Right, left, right, bass, because I'm right-handed. Right, left, right, bass. Right, left, right, bass, blop. If you want that to repeat, you put these brackets in like this. These are called roadmap signs. That is a repeat sign. That repeat sign goes back to the next repeat sign. I'll make the first repeat sign right here. A double bar with 2 dots. It's kind of sloppy, but I know that whatever in those brackets gets repeated. If you just want it to go twice, you leave it like that. If you want it to go 3 times, then you just do one of these. 3 times. You're going to go through that 3 times. Another thing, if you want something to repeat twice, 2 bars to repeat, boom, boom, bop, boom, boom, bop. And then, sometimes for shorthand, I'll do this. Keep it going. I'm writing really quickly now, but that's a 2-bar phrase. Kind of sloppy. Stems down. Boom, boom, bop, boom, boom, bop, boom, boom, bop, boom, boom, bop. Sorry, that's so sloppy. Boom, boom, bop, boom, boom, bop, boom, boom, bop, boom, boom, bop. If I want both of those bars to repeat, I do this. 2 times. Repeat that twice. You can make it look like this. 2 repeats. That's repeating something 2 bars. So, this is more the way to write it. Now say right here, you want to have what's called a first ending. Maybe you're going to put a whole note as a crash for the first ending and a bass drum for the first ending. Then you're going to make repeat signs going back to the beginning. So we're going to repeat back to the beginning. This is roadmap stuff. But the second time you come through, you don't take that first ending. You jump from there to the second ending. And the second ending can be da 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 da. Oh, so then you move on. And I always put these big old lines. I always put my chart so that it's landscape. You get a lot more in. So we're going to go 1, 2, 1, 2, repeat, 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 repeat. First ending. 1, 2, repeat, 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 repeat. Second ending. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We're making 7-bar phrases here. I don't like that. We're going to make it an 8-bar phrase. Tie those together. And we'll put a little whole note right there. How's that? Very sloppy, but repeat. Repeat. 2, 3, 4. Tie it over. Repeat back to here. Bop, bop, ba-da-da-da, bow. 2, 3, 4, boom. Okay, DS signs and coda signs. This funny looking thing like that is a DS. And I think in Italian it's del segno. This thing that looks like that is a coda sign. Led Zeppelin's last album was Coda, the end. Okay, so you could have a chart that says, for instance, intro, 8. You can write the beats in later. Verse, 16. These are measures or bars. 1, 2, 3, 4, 2, 2. You don't have to stare at the chart. You know that's 8 bars. You know that verse is 16 bars. Then you can have a B section that's only 4 bars. And then a chorus that's 8. And then you want to repeat this. I'm just making this up as I go. You want to repeat this. And you want to do that verse again for 16. That B section again for 4. That chorus for 8. But now we're going to go to the bridge. Or as the Beatles always called it, the middle 8. And now we're going to go down to a solo for 16 bars. Maybe it's a guitar solo. Okay. But then we're going to keep everything going here, but we're not going to do that verse. We're going to just go and take a DS to here. There's the sign. We're going to take the DS. So we go right for that solo. We DS to there. We do that. We take the repeat. We do that again. But instead of going to the bridge right here, believe me, I'm making this up as we go. Instead of doing that bridge, we're going to go coda right here. And then that's going to be outro. And it's going to be just a vamp and fade. That coda is a fade. So here's our roadmap. Intro, verse, B section, chorus, repeat, verse, B section, chorus, bridge, solo, DS, B section, chorus, the repeat still good, verse, B section, chorus, coda, right down here to the outro, and there you go. So you saved a lot of paper flipping and writing. It's kind of a shorthand shortcut. The DS, the del segno, and the coda to go to the end. Thank you so much for watching my show about charting and verbalizing drums. I'll tell you, every gig I do, I love to have a cheat sheet nearby, even if it's on that little wooden table where nobody can see it but me. But I just want to write things in. If we change an ending or we do something a little different, the drummer drives the bus. And you can't turn the corners and drive the bus and stop here and wait and take the coda here unless you know what's going on with the form. It's a great way to do recording sessions, to do auditions with lots of songs, to even if you've got a 3-hour show and you want some notes, what did we do on that one ending? It's there, it's documented, it's not going to hurt. So thanks very much. Don't forget to subscribe and hit that little bell reminder. See you next time.